Welcome to the deep dive. You know how it is, you've got maybe some articles, maybe an audio clip, and you just need the main points, quickly.
Yeah, without getting totally bogged down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we do here. We pull out the key stuff so you can get informed, fast, no overload.
And today, we're digging into this audio snippet. It's from EnglishPod Zone.
Right.
And it's got this dialogue between Marco and Amira. They're talking about this guy, Tony, who works somewhere, and he's asking his boss for an assistant.
Okay. Standard request.
Well, yeah, but our goal here isn't just the English words, right? It's also about seeing the real world communication, the workplace stuff happening underneath.
Gotcha. So the basic setup is Tony needs help, asks for an assistant.
And the boss says no, at least initially.
Okay, so let's break down that no. What were the reasons? The first one mentioned was resources.
Yeah, resources. And the way it's used here, well, it really just boils down to money.
No budget for someone new.
Pretty much. The company feels like they just don't have the funds. It's a really common first hurdle, Ask for staff. First thought is cost.
Makes sense. Then the boss also says they're understaffed.
Right. Which, simply put, just means they don't have enough people already.
Too much work, not enough hands on deck.
Exactly. It paints a picture of a stretched team.
And then there's that classic phrase, the timing is just not right.
Yeah, yes. That one. It's a bit vague, isn't it?
Totally. It's less about one specific thing and more situational. The source gave examples like selling a house.
Or having a baby. Yeah. Things where even if you want to, maybe now isn't the ideal moment.
So it suggests there's maybe a bad economic climate or just generally not a good time for the company to be hiring.
So you put all that together, no money, not enough staff, bad timing, maybe a shaky economy, the risk.
It really sets the scene. The company's being cautious.
And it means Tony can't just ask again. He needs a different approach.
Which he finds. He pivots. Instead of a full assistant, he suggests an intern.
Smart move. His reasoning. An intern could take some of the weight off my shoulders.
Which is just a great way of saying, help me with my huge workload.
Exactly. Help me out. Lighten the load. He needs some relief.
And this way, he's not directly fighting the boss's points. He's offering a cheaper solution.
Right. He frames it as, maybe a recent graduate could give me a hand with projects.
Give me a hand. Another good phrase. Not literally a hand, obviously.
No. It just means help out, like helping carry boxes, or in this case, maybe help with reports or tasks.
And the key part is, this helps keep our costs down.
And that directly tackles the boss's first point, the money, the resources.
Yeah, keep costs down, don't spend so much. Like the example they gave about companies watching how much paper they print.
Simple cost saving. And this approach seems to work because the boss replies that it sounds reasonable.
Reasonable. So like, okay, acceptable. Fair enough.
Yeah. Not a yes straight away, but it means the idea isn't dismissed. It makes sense given the situation. Like saying $30 for new shoes sounds reasonable. It's acceptable.
So Tony's alternative plan gets the green light, at least partially.
Seems so. And then the story moves to the introduction. Tony's about to meet his new helper.
He's told, Tony, I'd like to introduce you to your new assistant. And he's expecting.
Yeah.
Well, he says, okay, great, let's meet her.
Her. That's the key word there. Because then, surprise.
He meets Adam.
Yep. And you can apparently hear the surprise in Tony's reaction in the original audio. The hosts, Marco and Amira, they pick up on it straight away.
What do they reckon is going on?
They suggest Tony probably just assumed the intern would be a woman.
Oh. Okay. That throws up some interesting questions, doesn't it? About assumptions we make.
Definitely. The hosts even mention, could there be some sexism baked into that assumption? About who normally takes intern roles.
It's a possibility. They also noted Adam apparently has a deep voice.
Yeah, which might have added to the surprise, maybe expecting someone different based on the voice, too. It's subtle stuff.
So this little twist leads them into talking about internships more generally.
Right. What is an intern? The source defines it as, someone working often for low pay or sometimes no pay.
Ouch.
Mainly to get experience, to learn the ropes in an industry.
Yeah, internships can be a bit of a mixed bag, can't they?
True. The hosts admit sometimes it's just making coffee or doing boring paperwork. We've all heard those stories. But they also say some internships are genuinely good, great learning experiences.
Like the example Amira gives about her friend.
Yeah, her friend apparently got amazing experience at a big company. Yeah. Even without big pay, it was really valuable.
Those connections. that kind of thing.
Exactly. And Marco, one of the hosts, he even says he got hired after doing a 3-month internship.
Oh, wow. So it really can be a stepping stone.
Definitely. The experience itself can open doors later, either to other jobs or, like Marco, getting hired right there.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of those useful phrases we pulled out.
Good idea.
We had resources, which in this case meant
Money. Budget.
understaffed.
Not enough employees.
The timing is just not right.
Basically, it's not a good moment for various reasons.
Take some of the weight off my shoulders.
Help me with my work.
Give me a hand.
Help out. Assist.
Keep our costs down.
Try not to spend too much. Minimize expenses. And finally, reasonable.
Meaning accept. Okay, fair enough.
So you see how this short exchange, it's not just words, it's a whole negotiation playing out.
Yeah, you've got the request, the pushback with reasons, the clever counteroffer.
And that little twist at the end, highlighting assumptions.
Right. And that kind of brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about Tony's surprise when he met Adam.
Mm-hmm.
What other unspoken assumptions might be floating around in our workplaces? Things we expect or presume without even realizing it.
That's a good question. How often do our own biases or expectations shape how we interact or understand things at work?
Something to think about. We hope this deep dive gave you some useful insights, not just the vocabulary, but also those subtle workplace dynamics.
Hopefully you can see how these kinds of language points and maybe hidden assumptions play out in your own world too.